in the quiet, unassuming suburbs of America, where life usually hums along a predictable rhythm, a single, ordinary event can sometimes shatter the peace forever. For one family, that event was the ring of their doorbell. This is the story of the doorbell mystery, a case that started with a simple chime and spiraled into a nationwide puzzle, leaving behind more questions than answers and a chilling sense of vulnerability that resonated across the country. It all began on a perfectly normal evening. The sun was setting, casting long shadows across manicured lawns. Inside a cozy home, a family was settling in for the night. The kids were finishing up their homework, and dinner was just about done. Nothing was out of the ordinary. And then, the doorbell rang. It was an unexpected visitor at that hour. When they opened the door, there was no one there. Just an empty porch and the cool night air. They shrugged it off. A prank. Perhaps. A neighborhood kid playing a game. They thought nothing more of it and went back to their evening routine. But that was just the beginning. The next night it happened again. Same time, same sharp, clear ring of the doorbell. And again, no one was there. This time, a flicker of unease began to creep in. It was no longer just a prank, it felt targeted, it felt strange. The family started taking precautions. They checked the locks multiple times. They peered through the blinds before even thinking about approaching the door. The simple act of being at home, a place that was once their sanctuary, was now tinged with a subtle, growing fear. The ringing continued, night after night, a relentless, invisible tormentor playing a game only they knew the rules to. Who was doing this? And more importantly, why? The family's sense of security was completely eroded. Sleep became difficult. Every creak of the house, every rustle of leaves outside sent their hearts racing. They installed a security camera, hoping to finally catch the culprit and put an end to the nightly harassment. They waited, their eyes glued to the monitor, for the mysterious visitor to make their move. Sure enough, right on schedule, the doorbell rang. They rushed to check the footage, their hearts pounding with a mix of fear and anticipation. What they saw on the screen was far more bizarre than they could have ever imagined. The footage was grainy, but the image was clear enough. Standing on their porch was a figure, but it wasn't a person in the way they expected. The figure was dressed in a strange, almost theatrical costume, their face completely obscured by a bizarre, emotionless mask. The figure didn't move aggressively. It simply stood there, rang the bell, and then, after a few moments of complete stillness, turned and walked away, disappearing into the darkness as silently as it had arrived. There was no note, no threat, just this unsettling, silent performance. The family was now beyond scared. They were terrified. This wasn't a prank. This was something else entirely. They immediately called the police, showing them the disturbing footage. The authorities were baffled. It was a bizarre case of harassment, but with no direct threat, no property damage, and no clear motive. Their hands were somewhat tied. They increased patrols in the area, and neighbors were alerted. The community, once a picture of suburban tranquility, was now on high alert. Everyone was talking about the doorbell phantom. The story quickly caught the attention of local news, and from there, it exploded onto the national stage. News channels, online forums, and social media were all buzzing with theories. Who was this masked figure? Was it an elaborate prank that had gone too far? A form of psychological intimidation? Or was it a prelude to something far more sinister? The mystery deepened as other reports began to surface. A handful of other families, in different towns, even different states, reported similar experiences. A strange figure, a bizarre costume, the ringing doorbell, and the silent, unnerving retreat. A pattern was emerging, but it only made the case more confusing. The costumes were never the same, but the method was identical. It seemed there was a coordinated effort, or a copycat phenomenon was sweeping the nation. Armchair detectives across the country dissected every piece of available footage. They analyzed the figure's height, gait, and the unique details of each costume. Theories ranged from a viral marketing stunt for a horror movie to a secretive art collective making a statement about suburban life. Some even ventured into more paranormal explanations. The lack of any clear motive was the most maddening part. The figures never tried to enter the homes. They never stole anything. They simply announced their presence and vanished, leaving a lingering trail of pure, unadulterated fear. For the families involved, life was a living nightmare. They became prisoners in their own homes, constantly on edge. The psychological toll was immense. Every ring of a phone, every knock at the door, sent them into a panic. They felt watched, targeted, and completely powerless. Support poured in from their communities, with neighbors organizing watch groups and offering to stay with the families. But the fear of the unknown, The question of why us haunted them day and night. Then, just as suddenly as it began, it stopped. The nightly visits ceased. The masked figures vanished. The doorbells fell silent. There was no final message, no grand reveal. It was as if the phantom, or phantoms, had simply grown bored of their game and moved on. The police investigation hit a dead end. With no new incidents and no solid leads, the case eventually went cold. The doorbell mystery became one of America's most perplexing unsolved cases. To this day, we still don't know who was behind it or what their purpose was. Was it a social experiment? A complex and cruel prank? Or a warning that was never followed through? The case serves as a chilling reminder of how fragile our sense of safety truly is. It shows how the most ordinary elements of our lives, like a doorbell, can be twisted into instruments of psychological terror. The mystery left a permanent scar on the American psyche, a story passed around like a modern urban legend, a testament to a time when fear came knocking, and no one was there to answer why. Thank you so much for watching. What do you think was behind the doorbell mystery? Share your theories in the comments below. And if you found this story as fascinating and unsettling as I did, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the unknown. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.